crystal meth is North Korea's trendiest Lunar New Year's gift. Like many across East Asia, North Koreans have been exchanging presents this month to celebrate the Lunar New Year, right? You knew that. But rather than tea or sweets or clothing, some in this impoverished, isolated country are giving the gift of crystal meth. The gift that keeps on giving. The gifting and use of methamphetamine, a powerful stimulant that has been blamed in health and addiction crises around the world, is actually said to be a well-established custom in North Korea. Users are said to inject or snort this drug as casually as they might smoke a cigarette, with little awareness of its addictive qualities or destructive effects. Did you know this? I had no idea about this. Then again, I've never been to North Korea. I mean, it's not a place where I go to watch football games, so haven't visited. I'm not against it, because it seems like a weird place. I mean, just imagine just chilling, just snorting meth at a bar. I mean, it sounds crazy to me. Meth, until recently, has been largely seen inside North Korea as a kind of very powerful energy drug. Something like Red Bull, but amplified. My goodness, that's a real understatement right there. Like Red Bull? Yeah, you think? I'm gonna say no. All right, I have had meth and I have had Red Bull. Not even close. Not close. Not even close at all. At all. Meth, you're up all night into the next day. Red Bull, yeah, you can nap in 2 hours if you really want to. And by the way, there's a lot more sugar in Red Bull, so there's that effect as well. There's hardly any sugar in meth, from my understanding, although I'm not a chemist. Okay, the misconception. Methamphetamine was introduced to the Korean peninsula during the Japanese colonial period, you'll be happy to know, in the early 20th century, and defectors have reported that the North Korean military provided methamphetamine to its soldiers in the years after World War II. Since the 70s, many North Korean diplomats have been arrested abroad for drug smuggling meth. I had no idea any of this. I didn't even know meth was around this long. During the colonial period? The Japanese colonial period? When is this? In the 90s, the North's cash-poor government began manufacturing meth for export. The government's like, look, we're in debt. What do we do? I don't know. Let's make some meth. Sell it to the kids in the U.S. I heard the kids are into it. Yeah, they take meth and play this thing called Xbox. About 2 decades after it began sponsoring local opium cultivation and the production of opiates. So then they manufactured meth. After opium, they've been dabbling in the hardcore drugs, it seems like. Finished meth was typically sent across the northern border into China or handed off at sea to criminal organizations like Chinese triads or the Japanese Yakuza. But around the mid-2000s, meth production that was clearly sponsored and controlled by the government began to decline. That left a surplus of people with the skills to manufacture meth, many of whom created small-scale meth labs and began selling to the local market in North Korea. Amid a chronic lack of healthcare supplies and medical treatments in North Korea, many people take opiates and meth and amphetamine-type stimulants as perceived medical alternatives. Methamphetamine is highly addictive, so it's easy for casual users to develop more dependence and addiction over relatively short amounts of time, said a political scientist. And a genius, obviously. The drug's popularity in North Korea as a Lunar Year gift was first reported last week by Radio Free Asia, a U.S. government-funded news outlet. They quoted several anonymous sources as saying that the custom of giving out meth as a gift was especially popular among the country's young people. Happy New Year! Here's a bag of meth. Oh, it's your birthday? Have 2. Oh, you're pregnant? When's the child due? Here's a gift of meth for you and your family. The media report could not be independently verified, and the North Korean government has long denied that its citizens use or even produce methamphetamine. Of course. But experts say the custom of gifting crystal meth in North Korea, where it is called pingdu, P-I-N-G-D-U, pingdu, it's actually the Korean transliteration of the Chinese word for ice drug. It's essentially an open secret. Any of you living in North Korea that listen to this? I'm gonna guess that Weird AF News doesn't quite crack into the North Korean climate. Doesn't really crack over the North Korean border. So I don't know if I can get any sort of verification of this whatsoever, which I would love to. You know what I'm gonna have to do, guys? It's just, I'm sorry to say this, but we're gonna have to do a Kickstarter to raise some funds for Jonesy to just go to North Korea and see if it's a place with meth everywhere. I'm gonna have to go over there and try the meth myself and report back. This is, by the way, I'm not trying to get a vacation out of you. I'm not trying to weasel a vacation out of this. I'm really concerned with the data. This is real journalism that I'm doing here. This is all for you. It's all for you. It's not for me. While meth is illegal in North Korea, it's, quote, illegal in North Korea. Like other private economic activities there, the drug has effectively become legal because officials take bribes to look the other way when it comes to meth, and because the state indirectly benefits from a food chain of bribes that go all the way to the top, claims a political scientist who has studied North Korean drug trafficking networks. Over time, he's quoted as saying, "This has resulted in a culture where people are willing to take risks to make money, and official state prohibition has little meaning. Therefore, there is the use of meth all over the place." North Korea. I had no idea. Happy New Year! Come have a free stay in my meth lab. Take all the product you want. After all, it is the new year.